And welcome to everybody over on YouTube as we start another exciting edition of Overtime, Off the Hook Overtime, where you can call us. Our phone number is 802-321-4225, 802-321-HACK. And we are basically continuing the conversation on various issues. We are confirmed that we are on YouTube. That's always nice when we actually are broadcasting to people. And we hope to hear from listeners. But yeah, 5G. That story we were reading, I have to say, was confusing, and I think that's how a lot of people feel about these technical issues. Rob, why do you keep giving me the thumbs up? You gave me the thumbs up once.
Well,
you gave it to me 3
I
times.
really appreciate what you're doing, but also the levels on YouTube are a bit low.
Here we go again. I give up on this. This board that we have here keeps changing. Now the levels are low. I didn't change anything. So why are the levels low? I don't want to touch it. I'm afraid to touch it. If I touch it, all of a sudden things get distorted. You know, I was super distracted over the last hour because everything was changing on the board. So I couldn't hear myself, or I could hear myself, or I was distorted, or I was low. What do I do? Kyle, tell me what to do.
I think we need to turn up the auxiliary cheer.
You're very low, by the way.
There's not enough cheer in our board.
Okay.
It's missing the holiday cheer. Oh, I sound better.
I just turned you up.
Oh, that's good.
I made a change. You told me not to make a change. I made
Just
a change and
leave
made you
it.
sound better.
I'll have a talk with it after. It's
If anyone has a mixing board to send us, please, we'll give you the P.O. box.
it needs more sugar and spice.
It needs a kick in the ass is what it needs.
It's not feeling festive right now.
Well, someone say something while I'm doing something else.
Well, it's still doing very well considering we lashed this all up together ourselves in our individual homes in a pandemic, and the fact that we can get out there without the radio airwaves to our listeners and take phone calls live on the air is an example of something actually going really, really nice for what it is. And your toils are appreciated.
Thanks. So I heard a ring. We got one test ring. So the telephone system seems to still exist. So that's encouraging. I'm feeling optimistic about that.
So, do we have a caller?
No, they sadly didn't try multiple times,
Okay.
which we have that feature added on this phone line, I'm told.
All right, anyway, let's get back to 5G since we were talking about that.
Why not? Yeah.
So we have these 5G phones that are arriving soon, and I don't even know if we have a 5G network because I keep hearing conflicting stories. It's not being implemented till January, or it doesn't work in certain parts of the world, or it's been in operation since last January. I don't know what to believe.
I am also noticing these things about devices being compatible versus certified. That seems to be a thing. We have a call. I'm going to answer that.
Okay, go ahead and answer that. Let's see if we can put somebody on the radio.
This is gonna be-
Volume's too low again. Volume's too low again.
Okay, you know what, Kyle, you deal with Rebel here and get the volume to be to his satisfaction. I'm getting a
All
drink.
right,
Getting a drink.
Rebel.
over here.
Yeah, I'll go. I'm going to have a look.
I am
I'm
so
trying.
sick of
I'm
it.
really-
I
I've
am
been-
just
I've
so
been-
damn sick of this.
I thought I.
And let me mention something about 5G.
Well,
actually.
Rebel, we're trying
Yeah,
to
I
address.
think you should instruct us.
We're trying to address your concerns, so please bear with us now while we.
Even on the phone, you're a little bit low.
Uh-huh.
I mean, on the phone, you're a little bit low too. So I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, you see, here's what happens for people to understand what we're dealing with here. We have our microphones here in our studio pegged to the maximum. When we bring the Skype people in, that affects the sound and brings us down. So now we have to go above the maximum somehow. We can't. And if we adjust other knobs on the board, it gets all distorted. And I hear my voice making some kind of a chant. What the hell are you doing?
You said you
that's
wanted to
totally
be
fine.
louder. Is that better?
I don't want to be that.
Oh my god.
We have a doorbell.
No.
You just what did
Oh,
you
it's a
do?
ring doorbell.
Oh, that's Robin Gila's doorbell.
That is-
Oh.
I thought you did that to the board
No.
somehow.
Well, they're very loud. Okay. So are we feeling better? Are you feeling okay?
No, this sounds better. Rebel, how do you feel about this?
Yeah.
You sound a little bit louder and better. I mean,
Well,
let
we
me
know
hold on. Let me
we'll never
let me
completely
go to
sound-
the, wait.
Yeah.
Let me look on the terminal. Let me go to the terminal and
Go to the terminal and give it enough time to propagate so that, it takes
okay, well,
time.
hold on.
The internet is not live.
Yeah, it's a little louder on the
It's
computer.
a little loud. Can we be happy with a little louder? Can we be happy with that just for tonight?
And talk about something
I
else.
guess unless people hook their computers up to their stereos and maybe make it louder that way.
Can we talk about hacker hearing loss? Yeah, maybe it's the listeners that aren't listening well enough. Huh?
That's the way to go.
That's
Kyle.
my
That-
theory.
That's how you do it.
I'm just getting a little defensive over here.
I think you're too loud.
Oh, I'm too loud now.
Well, look at it this way.
Let me just put this
You
mic
had
there.
one.
I can hear you.
You had one
Okay,
green
great.
dot before. Now you have 8. So
Okay.
I don't know. You tell me.
Let's say it's working okay-ish for now. But back to 5G.
Okay-ish. That's what I was always told to strive for. Go ahead, Rebel. What's your question?
Yeah, what do you got about 5G or anything?
Let's see. All right, I have a 5G phone, a Samsung 5G phone. I got it from T-Mobile.
Okay.
And for some reason, I download things. I mean, I do speed tests on it, and it says 100 megabits a second download and 30 megabits a second upload or whatever.
Uh-huh.
But sometimes when I'm like I go on WhatsApp and download a file that somebody sends me, it's not very slow, but it could be a little faster. Like a 1 minute video that somebody posted, and I'll download it to watch it. It takes like not a minute, but it does take quite a while. Not a while, but I'd say maybe a minute and a half. No, maybe less.
Could it be adding a little bit because it's an encrypted conversation, possibly?
Maybe. I guess the encryption makes it.
That'd be
A
one
little-
guess I'd go with, but
Are you sure you're using the 5G network?
Oh yeah, because I see it on my phone.
Okay.
And when I tether, and when I use tethering, like when I use my phone as a tethering hotspot for my computer at home and go online, I get the same good speed download. But when I'm watching, let's say, a YouTube video, it'll sometimes buffer at, like when I'm watching a high definition video. If I put it on like 480, it'll buffer less. I mean, I think it's the latency is that the latency is like 13 or 18 or something like that, or 20. But with 5G, shouldn't it be less?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't.
no,
Maybe Alex has an answer to this because he's been using 5G as well. But
it's still susceptible, I think, with, even wired connections, optical and otherwise, suffer from latency issues, and wireless is, I think, no different. Maybe even more so because it's going from various modes of communication and takes some time to be processed in transit. But it still may have sort of super speeds and then suffer a little bit, especially when you're moving around.
I gotta say, I don't know if 5G improves reception. But out in Long Island, there are so many problems with reception. Almost everywhere you go, you lose reception. And my phone, lately, excuse me, has been taking to alerting me every time I'm out of signal range, like every 10 seconds. It chimes a certain note and says SIM not provisioned when it can't communicate with the carrier. And this is extremely annoying. I don't need an audible alert to tell me every 10 seconds that I'm not connected. I know I'm not connected, or I don't care, and it simply eats up the battery. I don't know if this is some new feature that they've implemented, or if my phone is just going bad.
It's a setting. It's a setting.
Well, it's a setting I didn't make. I'll tell you that right now.
I'm sure it's a setting.
I also have a theory about this. This is the dilapidation. This is the shutdown. This is the end of the old network.
Ugh.
They're not making more and better coverage for the phone that you're upset about. Yeah, and so anyway, that's not getting worked on. That's my theory. My second theory.
It's a good theory. It's built-in obsolescence. It's kind of funny that it's coming right before I get a new phone. But if that's what they're doing, I kind of don't want to get a new phone now because this makes me want to double down and hold on to old technology.
It just feels a lot like the whole landline conversation we always have.
All
like,
over again.
oh yeah, we're just gonna let the copper just corrode.
Yeah.
And
Just like, you know, like we're talking about getting on that subject, or it's kind of similar. You talk about the computer, the network, that flaw or that bug that you were talking about, that like,
Log4j.
yeah. Why? Maybe if everybody should just go back to getting a mainframe and, you know, terminals and, you know, and not be on the internet, and whatever you want to put on the internet, put it on a separate system or node or
I've
whatever.
still got the
I don't-
UNIVAC. I've still got the UNIVAC over at the warehouse.
Well, I don't know if you want to go that old.
What do you mean? Why
but,
not? If you say mainframe, let's go for the mainframe. UNIVAC. Yeah, we've got that. We've got the
I'm
power.
talking about digital, like IBM digital
The
deck,
punch
you know,
cards.
Informer. Remember you don't know, there was a computer terminal company called Informer that they would made terminals that like the Queensboro Public Library used to use,
Uh-huh.
and they ran on these, you know, that digital equipment company mainframes. They were little
I
micro
believe
backs.
I believe punch cards will make a comeback. I've invested heavily in their production, and I think that is how we will communicate in the future.
I just
Well,
handed
look-
you a stack this morning.
Prove me wrong. You can't do it, can you? No.
Well,
Maybe we should bring back TSPS operation.
You know I would like that. In fact, you know, I've been thinking since our conversation last week or a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about communities running their own landline telephone companies. I think that's a good idea. How about, you know, all these elderly people wandering around with nothing to do? How about they sit in the switch room and they
Actually,
they
some of
answer
them
the
do.
phone? And I know, but
Some
they're
of
not
them in
supposed
like
to.
Portland, Oregon.
They're not supposed to be in
Seattle.
there. Okay, yes, some of them are running museums and things like that. That's true. But you know, every central office becomes a part of the community. I think there's something here. Now, of course,
Yeah,
you
but
don't
central
want.
offices are going to become soft switches now. I don't know what that means.
Well, you don't want your grandmother. You don't want your grandmother climbing up a pole, unless she's really good at it to fix lines. But I'm sure we can work that out. Maybe, you know, outsource to some kids or something.
Well, they have like cherry
Right?
pickers.
Yeah, that's you know, just don't outsource it to anybody outside the country.
They can
Right.
use a bucket truck. They're not going to use a ladder.
Okay, all right.
They've been around long enough. They know. They're like, yeah.
Are there going to be no more 5 ESSs and like DMS 100? They're going to replace them with like voice over IP, like soft switch type things. Or
It's
how does
a
that-
software-defined networking future.
Hey, Rebel, I don't know if you saw the latest 2600, but there's a terrific article in there about switches, and I believe it covers 5ESS and DMS 100s and DMS 10s in the first part of it. Very, very thorough. I was extremely impressed by this.
There is a successor to the SS7 signaling network, and of course, a lot of the equipment that that utilized it, including 5ESS. So it will eventually be phased towards the older side. It'll be harder to find them, I guess, but not yet.
So what about the wired lines? So like businesses, like stores and businesses use wired
You know,
lines.
that's
phones,
a
and
good
they could
point.
just-
I was actually thinking about that because most establishments still have landlines for you to call in and make an order. The other day, I was trying to reach a place to place an order, and there was something haywire about their phone. It was picking up, giving the name of the place, playing music, saying somebody will be with you soon, and nobody ever came. And I kept calling back, and the same thing would happen. Then I called a second time on top of the first time, thinking that I might jump over. And I did. And I got somebody with a very far away voice that was cutting in and out saying, our phones are broken. I said, okay, I'll come down and place the order in person. When I got there, it was so sad because they had no way of communicating with their customers and nobody could call in to place an order. I didn't get to the point of saying, show me your phone line and I'll fix it for you. I just wanted to, you know, get my food and get out of there. But sometimes people have these things installed that just don't work, and they're at their mercy. So I don't know if they moved away from their landline to do this, or I don't know why they couldn't just pick up the phone. It just seemed like you should always be able to do that. And the fact that they weren't able to do that tells me that they opted for something cloud-based or just something that wasn't a very good idea that could really hurt them.
So you can do that with your own phone. Like if I wanted to get a home phone line, I was really thinking of doing it. But why would I pay the extra money if I have a cell phone? Just to play with, like get a
Rebel,
regular 7-digit phone.
May I ask what part of the country you're in at this moment?
Well, I'm in New York City now,
Okay, you're in
but
New
I
York
will
City.
be in California soon.
Well, when the floods come, and you can tell us about California later, but when the floods come, or a hurricane, or a blizzard, or just
Yeah.
uprising of one sort or another, and there's no power for a couple of months, or even a few weeks, and the cell towers are down, how are you going to communicate? How are you going to charge your phone? What are you going to do? Landline, you can pick up and get a dial tone and talk to whoever's still left.
That's true. That's why. Well, yeah. I guess it'd be worth it. Just to get basic service. Where I can, just call the operator. Oh, you know what? Speaking of collect calls, let's remember the shenanigans at the collect call that I would make to my cell phone and not see any bill. Remember when I told you about that?
Refresh my memory.
Yeah.
I there was 1-800 collect.
Right.
With they would say we can make collect calls to cell phones, and you'd make a collect call to your cell phone. And then I would think my T-Mobile bills or Sprint PCS would get the bill. I'd get it on the bill. I paid $10 for the minute I talked or whatever.
And
But no,
that
they
never happens.
just keep calling you. They call you saying, "This is WireMaxtel with reminding you about your collect call that was placed on whatever. To pay with a credit card, please enter your card." And they want a credit card number, so of course I didn't answer, and they just keep calling you saying, and the price keeps going up. I think it was like $30, $20 or something. Now it's like $30 or something. And,
Didn't we call them?
Yeah, we did a
called them
whole
the other
thing.
week,
Well, that
didn't
was a different company,
Oh,
but
different company.
but I have never seen a collect call work to a cell phone properly. I've never seen
no,
that happen.
but how
And-
that's what I thought.
Tell me if I'm wrong about this, but there has never been a phone book of cell phones ever. I keep hearing that there's going to be, but you used to be able to call the call. You used to be able to call information and ask for can I have Rebel's phone number, and she'd say sure, here it is. You want his address too, and they'd be very informative and helpful. You can't do that anymore. You can't do that with cell phones. How do you find out somebody's phone number if you don't already have it?
Maybe I should put my cell phone as unlisted.
I don't know how you can even do that because I think they're all unlisted by default.
I probably have to pay to do that.
I don't know why there isn't. Since we had a phone book in the past, and since we're a more intrusive society than ever before, why do we let that go? Why do we say, hey, you know what, we're not going to have a listing anymore?
I called Verizon and asked them, can I get a phone book? And they said, oh, you're going to have to call this number about it. And, I called another number, which is not Verizon, which was some company that, something about phone books. I don't know. They do something. I don't know.
They're probably more an ad.
Was, but I don't think I could.
You know what you can get a good price for old phone books these days. If you have a phone book,
well, go to
save
the library.
Save it, and you can sell it. I'm just trying to start something here. I don't really know if that's true.
On eBay.
Yeah, sell your phone book on eBay. I have a 1983 Suffolk County phone book. It's yours for $50. Try that. See what happens.
Yeah, or you could go to the public library, the New York City Public Library, and look at old phone books.
Yeah, they have a whole floor devoted to phone books. No, I'm kidding about that too.
Is there
They
a
have
hacker?
microfilms.
Is there a hacker phone book of like every single phone number that has been explored?
That's
was
every
that
hacker
ever-
has that in their.
Was that ever compiled anywhere though?
Well, every hacker has their own. That's got scribbles and crossouts and things like that. I don't know if it's ever been compiled.
Wow. I just thought of something.
I know the FBI has tried to do that.
I was just remembering a time when you used to call back in the 90s, the operator, you would say, I like the rates of calling a 212-394 exchange. And she would just dial it and say, oh, that's local or whatever. Back in the TSPS days, they would have to dial a certain, like 141 or whatever, and then get a recording that said rate step 11 or whatever, and then that would mean to look in her table and
do you
look for
remember that
rate step,
voice?
and there would be,
Rebel, do you remember that rate
rate
step voice was so computerized sounding?
Hey, really? It would say rate step 11.
Yeah,
Repeat.
that's a very good imitation. That's a very good imitation. And somewhere on one of my old radio shows, I know we have a recording of that, but yeah, that was something else. It was like the way you would picture a voice computer sounding in the 1950s.
Yeah, and they also, like, when you call, like, our phone number would begin with a 9, like the suffix would begin with a 9,
Mm-hmm.
like 9901, but like 9872. So, being that back in the 60s and 50s, payphones used to have 9 as the beginning a number of a suffix.
Usually, yes.
I would call collect to my house, let's say, and the operator would have to verify that that wasn't a payphone, even though, and this was in the 70s. So
And they would call
she would
they would call it a coin box, by the way.
a coin box, yeah, but it would say valid, repeat, valid, or coin, repeat, coin.
You should lead a symposium, Rebel, on what all these recordings used to say. I think there's an audience for
Yeah, I
this.
remember that. But remember back in the Dell System days, they used to, when you used to like pay a dime for a phone call for 5 minutes, and then when it collects, they give you 5 minutes for another 5 cents. It'd be like a penny a minute. So basically, they would say, "Excuse me,
Yes.
please deposit 5 cents for the next 5 minutes, or your call will be interrupted. Thank you. This is a recording." They would interrupt the call, and if you didn't put the coin in, the 5 cents, it would interrupt. It would start clicking and muting the sound for a minute, but you could still hold on a conversation.
You could, but people
But now
shouting and
that-
trying to distract you, and everybody in the phone company would pitch in and just try to get you off the phone. But that was
Right, but
that
then-
you could not use a red box for those. That was a different kind
No,
of
that's
overtime.
local. No.
Yeah, that was local
Right.
overtime.
Right, but that was, and then when the phone company broke up, and then when NYNEX became the local company, then they said, "Excuse me, please deposit 10 cents for the next 2 minutes, or your call will be terminated."
Wow,
They
that's
just
significantly
terminated.
more expensive, isn't it?
Yeah, and they just disconnect the call, and they don't interrupt it anymore. They just would disconnect you.
I don't even know what
Yeah,
they
and
do
then-
now. I haven't made a payphone call in a long time. I'm always.
I don't even know where there's payphones at all. I mean, they're removing payphones like everywhere. So, and the payphones that are still around don't work.
I always, I want to preserve them. I have not actually used one. Of course, it's hard to use one. But I should try that. I should find a working payphone, put a quarter in it, make a call, and see what happens when my time
Actually,
runs
no,
out.
there is a working pay. I think on like Broadway. No, not Broadway. Amsterdam. No, it's on the west side somewhere in Manhattan, on like West End Avenue and like 68th Street or 72nd Street or something. It's like one of those Canadian type phone booths with a Verizon payphone inside. Well, it's not really a Verizon payphone, but it's. I don't know if it's still there. I mean,
Well, I keep hearing rumors of old payphones inside restaurants that the phone company has lost track of that are still rotary dial and might even have the wrong area codes because, cutovers and expansion area codes and things like that were put into play. I don't know if that's true, but if you know
if it
weird
is, I'd like
payphones,
to see it and take a picture of it.
Yep,
I mean,
and
I do
send
have
it to us,
pictures yeah, I mean, I have pictures of phones from like the late 80s, early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
You got to carry coins with you, and
yeah.
It's a pain. You see, everything's more efficient these days. You pay with a debit card. You don't
Exactly.
have to carry cash and coins. You give somebody, it's $1.57 for this candy bar, and then you get all this change that's rattling, and then when you sit down, it falls out of your pocket, and
Is that what a candy bar costs? $1.57? Really?
something.
it's
Well,
like
if you go
$2.49
to some
now.
places.
Wow. Yeah, we saw when we were
$1.79.
at St. John's, we saw a robotic a vending machine that basically, how sodas used to just sort of fall from when you select them. No, this arm comes, gets it, and brings it
Yeah,
down.
I've seen that.
I'm wondering why do you need a robot arm to do this? Why can't you just push it off the edge like you used to? It's one more thing to break down. But I was fascinated by it. It's amazing. Vending machine technology has
I
come a
live
long
near
way.
St. John's. I'm a bicycle ride away from St. John's.
Well, then I hope we'll be seeing you at Hope in July.
Oh, you mean this summer?
Yes, this summer.
Yeah, that's going to make coming to the conference.
Yeah.
I remember back in 1988 or something, I went to this job fair at the Javits Center, and New York Telephone, NYNEX New York Telephone, was, I guess they were hiring operators or something. I just remember they were showing the top console or the computer or whatever. I just remember, I remember it very vaguely. I mean, I wish I would have, gone into it more, but I remember looking at it and remember there being a phone number. I guess it was a display. It wasn't an LED display, but it was a regular, I guess, computer monitor display. And a phone number was on the upper left-hand corner. It was just a phone number. And I remember seeing the buttons of the keyboard there, and I said, where's like position release and all that? And, I was playing with it, saying, oh, the operator, and, the guy was just saying, oh, this is what the operators use, and I don't remember the encounter very well.
You
but I
you
just
should have
remember-
applied. You would have made an interesting operator, an interesting.
Yeah, you know,
operator.
I did go take the New York the test for the phone company. I remember, but I don't think I was like quick enough. You got to be like you have to type a certain words a minute and be you know, I don't know, good with your voice. I don't know if I'd be good with. You got to be quick a certain way
and not take
you know.
apart the console to figure out what it does.
right.
Yeah.
I was thinking the exact same thing, Emmanuel, that Rebel would have made, I think, the most interesting telephone operator in the New York telephone system there. You could have made quite a splash there, Rebel.
Yeah, absolutely. And now there are no operators.
Yeah.
Actually, there might be operators still somewhere.
Actually, there's operators, but they're in other. Well, the operators that when you call 1-800 call AT, not call ATD, 1-800 collect. When you call that, that's in another country.
Uh-huh.
I guess, or in India or something. But I was in a hotel in Florida at Walt Disney, and I called the operator just to see what it is. It was AT&T, you know, and so you know it was a regular AT&T operator. You know,
So
and when I go to California, I'll do the same thing.
that's
I'll
where they
play
are.
with
In
phones
Disney
more.
World. That's where all the operators wound up.
Yeah.
Interesting.
In a long
When I go to
term.
California, I'll play with phones more.
All right. You keep dropping this hint. You're going to California. Are you going to California, Rebel?
Yeah, in January.
Okay. All right. Are you coming back?
Yeah, hopefully. Well, I'm coming back, but hope.
Because
I am coming back.
the
but
Brooklyn Dodgers
I wish
never
I would-
came back. The New York Giants never came back. You know, they go out there, they just stay at, and
Well,
that's
I'd
the
like
end of
to.
them.
Well, I don't. I mean, I'd like to stay for the winter and maybe come back in like March or April.
They don't have winter there, so you wouldn't be staying for the
You know,
winter.
I'm saying I'd like to stay for the winter. Stay for.
He's gonna wait out winter.
leave this
Uh-huh. You basically want to go into
Right.
suspended animation and miss our winter and live in whatever they call that season over there.
Right.
All right.
Let him go if he wants to.
No,
go. He might have fun.
By
out
all means, no. Safe travels and all that, but
Remember when you called Drake's Dad? You know that there was
yes.
this resort up in like Northern California, up in like the mountains, like north of like Sacramento.
What
like
what they
100
call
miles
that? They
north of
call that
Sacramento.
a toll switch or something?
Toll
Toll
station.
station, that's it.
where they didn't get incoming phone calls or something. They had to go through an operator to get incoming phone calls or something like that. How did that
Amazing.
work?
I just know you wound up speaking to an operator, and you'd have to say the name of the place.
I like toll station number. I like Drake's Bay toll station number 2, whatever.
Like Drake's Bad 7 or yeah.
Right, and that would correspond to whatever phone number, and then they'd call them or something. And I remember going there like 15, 20 years ago maybe,
Uh-huh.
and then just playing with their phones at that place and talking to an operator in Susanville, California.
There are still independent phone companies in various places if you find them. We saw a couple when we were driving back across the states last month. You know, they might be very interesting places to get tours of.
Right, but did they have payphones? How did you know they were independent phone companies?
We saw a building that said local town independent phone
Frontier.
company. Yeah, yeah,
Not necessarily
Well, here in New
Frontier.
York-
Smaller than that.
like Bob.
I mean, here in New York, there's Frontier, and I think that's GTE maybe? Is GTE?
GTE's not around anymore. I don't think.
Oh, I mean, let's see. So yeah, the Drake's Bad thing, and then the operator, and
Didn't
what else?
Verizon take over GTE?
They don't
think?
have those
That's
anymore. I mean,
that
like
or
you could just
I'm
That's
pretty
call
sure
them
they
directly
did.
now.
They took over GTE. They took over
Yeah, yeah.
the Connecticut company there. You know.
Didn't like Verizon take over GTE? I mean,
SNET.
these companies
Yeah,
that keep-
SNET, Southern New England Telephone.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
It's, I think. Wait. Yeah,
I miss those
now
days
what
where every state had their own. Bell of Pennsylvania and C&W
Right.
and
Yeah.
DC.
Bella,
Well,
Pennsylvania.
that's what the
Uh-huh.
community
Yeah.
phone companies are like. They're like, small town phone and internet or whatever, and that's where people will get their DSL. No, I'm just kidding. A wireless or local contract, and it's rural or maybe off the beaten path in a place where there aren't a lot of customers, so they're able to just kind of pool together people that have a vested interest in communicating, are planning on connecting up and running a business or communicating, and it's a practical way to get a bulk purchase and keep people connected and not so distant while they're physically removed.
Rob, did you have something to say?
Yeah, just a quick point of trivia. GTE and Bell Atlantic merged, and that's where we got Verizon.
Oh, that's what happened. They formed together and created Verizon. Wow. And of course, Bell Atlantic swallowed 9X at one point, and we became Bell Atlantic for a little while. Do you remember that? Do you remember those days when we were Bell Atlantic here?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
If anybody knows anything about running a cooperative telephone company, we would like you to write oth@2600.com or call in. We're really interested in how co-op or nonprofit telephone companies work and what it would
Are
take.
there even such thing as non-profit telephone companies?
Yeah, a 501c12. Yeah, definitely.
An
We're-
actual telephone company, a utility company that's a nonprofit? Really?
Yeah, it's a cooperative telephone company. We're very interested in that specifically, running a 501c12 and how hard it is or what kinds of things you encounter in your community. We're really interested in what kinds of things are going on.
You know,
We've seen this in northern Canada, people pooling resources, getting high-speed internet and stuff. So if you're doing this kind of project, we want to hear your story.
I feel like
I mean, doesn't it
we're hurtling towards a Green Acres episode, and if you've never seen it, there's a series of episodes actually where they run their own phone company, and they're climbing poles and fixing all kinds of problems and dealing with the Public Utility Commission. Yes, the Public Utility Commission. It actually is really well done, and I guess that might be the world we're heading towards. It's not a bad world, to be honest. If running our own phone company.
Well, if the alternative is this giant thing that is impersonal and has absolutely it's just a giant computer with employees, that's some kind of a worthwhile trade-off. I mean, I don't actually mind the smaller, more approachable one if I can't get much other than carrier jargon out of the larger one.
Then again, the post-apocalyptic scene of like the massive computer that doesn't care and the barren landscape, there's something kind of appealing about that too. I don't know. I'm torn. I'm torn between the homespun charm and the futility of it all.
I think there's aspects of both, and a huge, giant spectrum of gray area in between.
That's our brains.
Oh, yeah.
Well, doesn't it cost like a couple of $1 million to do this? I mean, how are you going to get the money to...
Money is no object because we don't intend on paying for anything.
Yeah, we don't use dollars.
Yeah.
That's so last century.
Alex, what did you have here?
I wanted to chime in here about this because I had this this Proustian moment in talking about telephone companies and run by the community and things, and I thought back to this experience I had in law school in Vermont. I went to law school in Vermont, and I have another law degree from the UK as well. But in Vermont, my second year, I was moving to a new town. And have you ever heard of Norwich University? Has anybody ever heard of that in Vermont?
Sounds vaguely familiar.
I
but
believe
I don't
it
know
exists. I believe it's there. It could be there.
The thing that's interesting about it is it's a military academy. It's a private military academy that's a university.
Wait. A private military? You mean it's a different military than the U.S. military?
Yeah, mercenary school.
Yeah. Well, no, it's a military academy, but it's run privately.
Which
right?
military? Which military do they help?
The United States military.
Amazon.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Amazon. All right.
This is 125 years old. I think. No, I'm sorry. It's not 125 years old. It's about 110 years old. I think it's like 1819 or something. Was Norwich University, but in any event, Northfield is where. Okay, so there's another town in Vermont called Norwich. Norwich University, of course, does not exist in Norwich, Vermont. Norwich, Vermont is actually closer to Dartmouth. But Northfield, Vermont is the site of Norwich University. And I almost lived there, and I almost actually took a teaching gig there. And I remembered something really specific about Northfield, Vermont. They run their own telephone company.
Do they call it the Norwich Telephone Company?
No, it's not Norwich.
Well,
Remember,
I want to get past this confusion with the name. Norwich University is in Northfield. Did they just confuse themselves, or are they trying to confuse us?
I think so, yeah. But so in this weird little, enclave that's sort of like a tiny little country military town, is.
Oh, I
is
love those.
Northfield.
Country military town.
But it is the Northfield Telephone Company.
Mhm.
I remember seeing this. I remember talking with people about it when I almost lived there. I decided not to take the house in Northfield and move into Montpelier, but it is the Northfield Telephone Company, and I just looked it up. And Kyle, this will answer some of your questions too. This says the business description is that the Northfield Telephone Company, which also operates under the name inexplicably TDS, it doesn't describe what TDS stands for, is located in Northfield, Vermont. This organization operates primarily in the telephone communication, except radio business and communication sector, and has been operating for approximately 125 years. Northfield Telephone Company is estimated to generate $2.3 million in revenue, in annual revenues, and employs approximately, how many people do you think are employed there? Let's do an over-under here. How many people?
What's the approximate population of this place? Well, or
Of
just
Northfield?
is it a village?
5.
Is it a village? Is it a city? What?
I'm guessing 5.
I think there's like 6,000 people in the town,
All
maybe 6 to 10,000.
Then-
It's got to be smaller than
Then I'm
10,000.
going to take Kyle's bet of 5 and undercut it and say 3. Rob, Gila, you have any bets there?
I have no horse in this race, and
Yeah, you can throw in
I have
a
10
number.
people working there.
Rebel says 10.
$1. Okay, I will say 15.
15.
Okay.
And Gila's walked away. So okay.
Yes.
What's number, Alex?
So you said 5, Kyle, Emmanuel, you said 3.
That's right. Rebel said 10, and what'd you say again, Rob?
I said 15.
15. Okay, so what is it?
The inimitable and brilliant winner here is none other than Rich the Rebel, who's graced our airwaves once again after such a hiatus. It's actually 8. Only 8 people work there. 8 employees. That's all it takes. That's 16 part-time people working half-time, right? That's and you can just go from there. I mean, it's
So who
absolutely
fixes the-
amazing. It takes
Who
8
fixes
people.
the phones and who fixes the switches and the wires and things like that?
And Alex, does Northfield Telephone Company in Vermont still exists?
I think it does.
Well, they don't
I
have a
think
Wikipedia page. I just looked it up.
it doesn't? Really?
I can't find it unless it's called something else.
So there are
There's something
Wait,
called
no.
TDS. Oh, there's TDS Fiber I'm seeing here. I don't know if it's the same thing.
How does
But,
the
I-
Northfield
I would
Telephone
think
Company get known as
DMV.com.
TDS? How do you get TDS
No,
at a
it's
Northfield Telephone Company?
That's what I
Oh.
said. It was inexplicably called TDS.
Oh no, they don't have
couldn't
it. No,
describe it.
it's you have to Google it and it'll come up and under the Dun and Bradstreet. I guess it's there. Oh wait a minute, Northfield. No, they don't have a website, but
They don't have a
no,
website
they don't
either?
have.
Amazing.
No, it's just actually, it's not a website. It's just to go to Dun and Bradstreet. You just Google Northfield Telephone and it'll come up. Dun and Bradstreet, which is I guess some.
Do not say
financial-
Dun and Bradstreet one more time, please.
yeah, come on.
I don't know. There's some financial. I guess they rate businesses or something.
Yeah, that's it's
That's what they do, yes.
Yeah, that's their whole thing.
Kyle,
And
you had
just
something.
look-
They're just saying that they existed in one point in time ever. I would just comment. It both surprises me and sort of contradicts what I'm going to say, that there are a lot of tools to running these kinds of things. Think about how much you can do to register someone online now versus years and years ago, where you would have a lot of paper forms and filling out things. And so to that end, and running a small company like this, you would have to deal with customers. You would have to deal with repairs and stuff like that. But I think maybe there's answers
There's a phone number.
how contractors fit in, or if because do they need to have full-time installers necessarily, or do they structure that type of problem in a different way than what we've seen for so many years with other forms. We're just curious. I think this is fascinating, and there are so many of them. The fact they don't have a website, I digress. It both surprised me and doesn't. In fact, why would they need one? Maybe it is such a small user base that it's something that people just walk down the street and go in and handle their business in person or something.
I think I might want to go up there and see if they still exist. Knock
There's
on
a
their
phone
knock on their
number.
door and see who answers.
They have a phone number.
Hey, Alex, road trip. What do you say?
Yeah, I lost
Yeah,
my internet connection.
there's
for
a phone
second
number. They
back.
have a phone number here.
But I, had- I, had-
802 phone number.
I knew people that were involved in small telephone companies and were able to, just like so many people are doing now, were able to work remotely and maintain that network wherever they were. So it's I'm sure just like any other utility business these days, just on a very micro scale.
Rebel, we've been talking to you for over 40 minutes, and I maybe want to let another caller get in. So it's been fun. It's been really enlightening, and a good trip down memory lane and Memory Boulevard.
Yeah.
Call back.
They have a phone number. Would you like their phone number, the Northfield Telephone Company?
Well,
yeah,
yes,
sure. Why not? We're all about giving out
Yeah,
information.
let's immortalize it. Yes.
I don't know if it still works, so it's area code
Could
802
have told you that.
485
Uh-huh.
9784.
9784.
Be nice to
They're
them.
at the 24 Depot Square. I don't know if this is accurate.
Alex,
or
you're
if it's
calling them?
current.
You just made a phone call with your cell
All
phone.
right. Anybody else calling? Please be
Alex
friendly.
is calling them.
Be-
You want to
I'm not
report?
calling them.
It's the holidays. They
No.
might be.
Alex is calling. I'm trying to get Alex to say something here. What did you find out?
Let's
Oh,
listen.
you're calling them live. Okay, let's
They're
listen.
probably having their Christmas party.
Peter Gove is not available to take your call. Please leave a
Okay.
message
Sorry.
after the tone.
Now you gave out the guy's name who runs the phone company.
we
Oh.
just doxed Peter Gove.
We're gonna have.
Oh, I did it again.
Wow.
Oh, jeez.
We're not trying to make frenemies in the small telco game.
It could be the highest telephone executive that we've ever reached, though. Think about that.
It would be interesting if that was actually Rebel's arch enemy.
Uh-huh. And he just gave out their phone number for no reason.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess we'll find out. So, Rebel, we're going to disconnect now, as the operators would say, and see if anybody else is out
At the
there.
operator's request.
Have a fun trip out there, and
Yeah, well, I'll call in, of course.
yeah, absolutely. We
At least
would
I'll try. I
expect
mean,
no
I'll
less.
try. Well, depending on what I'll be done. Let's see. Where will I be? Wednesday? I'll be in.
No, don't say that. Okay, I'm hanging up.
Yeah, we
I'm
gotta
hanging up.
go.
All right,
See you,
bye,
Rebel.
Rebel.
Bye. Wow. Well, that was something. Maybe we should have 45-minute calls with each caller.
I enjoyed talking to him. It's great to hear. It's so many different conversations there, and that's the very nature of discussion. That's why we do this.
Well, it's good to remember the things that used to be, and some that still are, and might be in the future.
Well, there's people out there that know about what is. They just can't call.
Well, someone's calling now.
That's such a wimpy ring.
Yeah, why don't you make it louder? We have a landline here that isn't very enthusiastic about being a
Also
landline.
not in the holiday spirit.
Okay. Go ahead. You're on the radio. No, you're on Off the Hook Overtime.
Hi.
Hello?
You want an update on my attempts to keep my copper line?
Sounds like you've kept it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, it's still at the let's see, Brad Hoylman's office is advising me to play for time while they try and see if they can do anything.
Okay. Now, who is this? Who's advising you?
Brad Hoylman,
And who is that?
an elected official.
You
That's
found
great.
somebody. That is amazing. Wow, that is great. And what is this person elected as? What are they?
I live in the Chelsea area.
Okay, but what are they? An assemblyman, a senator? What are
I
they?
think so,
It's a
yeah.
state senator, I believe,
State
right?
senator? I don't know. I don't know every elected official.
Brad
You
Hoylman,
can-
I think,
you
is
can
the
look them up
state
and
senator.
find out about
I
him
believe-
if you want to.
Well, this is just
They
it's just
also
good
put me
guidance
in-
for other listeners who might have the same problem. If you got a response by this particular elected official, I'm going to look them up. What's the name again?
Brad Hoylman.
Okay.
He also directed me to the New York Utility Project, which I left phone messages, but nobody's gotten back to me. Apparently, they've had an overwhelming crush of emergency calls. I wonder why.
Now herein is the connection.
Uh-huh. Well, Brad Hoylman, by the way, is a New York State senator. So I think you've definitely hit the right combination here. So contact your state senator, and they might be as responsive as Brad Hoyland has been so far.
So anyway, I'm supposed, on January 1st, I will call them up and arrange for, FiOS at the latest possible date, playing for time, which is not exactly, a breakthrough.
It depends how much you can string them along for.
Invariably, they'll want to schedule
I guess
something.
I'll find out.
They'll schedule something. You can be unavailable for indefinitely.
That's true. Or away for a long time.
Well, I think they're going to want to do it at some point, but since they're switching everybody else over, also maybe they won't be in such a particular hurry about me. Who knows?
Well, if you can find any other people that feel the same way, that employ the same tactics, then it becomes a pain for them.
And use the time, continuing to, call out here and just finding other resources, getting allies, and getting some other avenues to pursue.
Use that copper line to help save that copper line.
Well, I was just filling out a general inquiry form contacting the Office of the Public Advocate. I don't know whether the Public Advocate can do anything, but I guess it can't hurt.
Can't hurt.
For me to ask.
Contact as many people as you possibly can, and you might really find a solution to this.
I'm doing my best.
And you're doing well. You're doing really well, and hopefully an inspiration to many other people.
And I hope that maybe you could act fast and throw up your copper landline company really quick so that I can be your first customer.
Yeah, well, imagine the local company for New York City, for Chelsea. Yeah, that would be, you'd have your work cut out for you, but it'd be interesting.
Oh, let me do a shout out also on the once a month meetings of 2600. Let me encourage people to try the Zoom one, because this last time I was all lone and lorn. So I hope somebody else will say hi too next time.
We heard reports. I don't know. Rob might have an update that it is still available, but it is underutilized.
Yeah, it's been utilized less and less since we started doing meetings in person again.
Hi.
But I have a feeling, the news being what they are now, and the situation being what it is, I think more people are going to be interested in attending the 2600 meeting remotely rather than physically in a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
so,
I think we should just say here right now, 2600 meetings. Enjoy the holiday. Stay at home for January. Just this 1 month. Let's all just play it safe, because the Omicron is going nuts, and let's reconvene in February. I think that makes more sense.
It does make sense.
Okay,
I mean,
so
we have 2.5 weeks, and the
Zoom
news has
for
been
January.
drastically different every day, trending toward doom. But I would say keep an eye on the numbers and everything going on where you are, and be safe above all else. And we will definitely still be doing the virtual component to the meeting this time around. And we'll see. We'll go from there. Something else that's interesting, though, completely unrelated, but right at the day after the 2600 meeting, which would be on January 7th, January 8th is WBAI's birthday. It will be its 62nd birthday.
Wow, how about that? But something else you said that just sort of touched. January 7th is the day after the meeting, which means the meeting is on January 6th.
The January 7th is the Friday. It's the meeting
okay.
day.
All right, thank God. I just didn't want the meeting to be on January 6th.
Oh, no.
I know 1 year it will be, but not so soon.
Everybody stay home that day.
Yeah.
2023 it will be.
Oh, thanks, Gila. Okay, I've got 2 years. No, 1 year. Oh my God, it's coming up. All right, caller. I hope things work out. Thanks for updating us.
Thank you.
Please call back
I'll touch bases with you
when you know
at
more.
the next meeting on Zoom.
Yes, definitely.
Fantastic. We'll see you there.
Bye-bye.
Have a great holiday. Bye.
Our phone number, 802-321-4225, 802-321-HECK. I have a few minutes left. If anybody else is out there wants to say hi, we'd love to hear from you.
Tell us about your phone company idea.
Why do you sound like you're on the phone now somehow? You're leaning
Am I?
into your microphone.
I don't know. Everything's crazy.
I
It's the
haven't
holidays
touched anything
here.
on the board, by the way. I haven't touched a thing. I was afraid we might get a squeal.
I keep
because,
leaning on this table.
No,
That's
when
probably
people
not
hang up, sometimes you get a squeal. But
it didn't do that.
I think it's low enough where it doesn't squeal.
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah.
if I keep
okay.
it there, that's fine. I can do that.
I think some of those channels are out of phase, and they're like.
You think?
They're competing with each other because.
What was your first clue?
Well, it's because we're looping back to the people who are remote, and it's not really the best. It's not mixing them out when they get something fed to them.
No, it's
I'm not
mixing all of us up there.
I have
that's for
no
sure.
idea how any of it. It's just magic. It's just a spaghetti of wires.
And then you went and added turntable channels on top of everything else. Now we have turntables.
You don't like turntables?
I'm just saying, everything we add makes it more
No.
crazy,
Okay.
and it's a combative board. It tries to hurt us and distort our words. Yeah.
We could do some scratching.
I'm not disagreeing with
It
that.
may be conservative on the other show somehow.
They have 2 turntables?
And a microphone.
No.
Most
no.
boards I've been on were exactly like that.
So it's open phone line here. I think.
Well, not anymore. Now it's a busy phone line.
Yeah.
802-321-4225. The phone is on the hook now, so you can call. Maybe we can fix that ringer too, so the phone sounds more like a phone.
This one, yeah. This phone's it's being rebuilt.
Yeah, it sounds like something someone stepped on.
Rehabilitated. It's it came from a broken situation and
Is that that's my grandparents' old phone, isn't it?
Did they live in the 212?
Well, before it became 718 and the 784 exchange. Yeah, that's my grandparents' phone.
Is
that
this
we're using right now?
You want to look at the extension? Make
Absolutely.
sure you don't have to read that.
No, I have had,
Okay.
as a child, I would
Okay.
call that phone from my house and talk to my grandparents.
Okay.
How awesome is that? That we're using that particular. That's the oh boy. Of course, the bell did sound better back then. We can fix that.
Oh, there you
Okay,
go.
there
There
you
you
go.
go. There you go.
There
I
it
had
is.
it. I think that's the muted mode.
All right.
What is that? There
John,
we
pick
go.
up the phone. Is what
All right,
my
here we go,
grandmother
here we
would
go.
say.
I'll pick it up. Hold on.
Wait, I hear a siren. Do you hear that?
That's ours.
Oh, okay. I was wondering how the phone was generating a siren. Kyle, maybe you want to pick up the phone so that we can talk to the person on the
I
other
did.
end.
I'm holding the phone
Oh,
in my
it's
hand.
still ringing. I heard it's still ringing.
Oh, you want to pick up the line?
Yes, that's what I mean by pick up. Not physically pick up the phone, for God's sake. Oh. Did we
Messing
lose the caller?
No, they stopped calling. I was trying to mess
They
with the
stopped
volume.
calling because you made it ring 20 times. Pick up the phone. You're the only person in the world, when you say pick up the phone, you literally pick up the phone.
I was messing with you, and I.
And you wound up messing with some innocent person
Well,
someplace.
I said that because I was trying to adjust the ringer, and that required me to pick up the phone. Please call back.
Does it feel good, Kyle? Does it feel good knowing that
Ruining
you've
everything, yes.
changed somebody's plans for
I'm
tonight?
I'm sorry. It's a good exercise for your dialing digits.
Maybe they were calling to say they were in trouble and that they needed help, and we were the people who could help them.
And we're here for you. We are here for you. We'll answer all your questions about telephones, about logs in Java, and all the operating systems. If you have a mobile phone with a real-time operating system, let us know. If you're upset at your microkernel and you're trying to negotiate with it, we can help you through that. We're good counselors.
The phone is ringing again.
Hello.
And it's coming from Vermont, actually.
IntelliCall operator
And
services.
this is Rebel, so you can just disconnect that right away.
That was me.
I mean, that was you.
Well, it was me saying if you're upset with your microkernel.
Oh, someone just recorded the show, and I see.
Yeah, well, or they're listening on a
Rebel,
delay.
you are on for 45 minutes. Please don't call us now.
Thanks for that, though.
Give someone else a chance.
It was a good
Or they're
test.
listening on YouTube and they're just in the delay.
That's true. 802-321-4225 is our telephone number. You can call that direct, 802-321-HACK, and we'll be on for another 5 minutes or so, after which time we will stop. Yeah.
While we're waiting, tell us a little bit more about this telephone because the listeners can't see it. I'm looking at it and it's very pretty.
Oh.
It's beige. It's a rotary phone. Is that a Western Electric?
Yes,
Yeah,
of course it's a Western Electric.
This
Rob.
is a 1976 500 DM.
I don't know if you can see a year on it anywhere.
Yeah, it says 1176.
1976. Actually,
I'm assuming that's the year.
Well, maybe that was one of the newer phones that they got.
Bell System property, right? Was it still property then?
Really?
I mean, it might say that.
You know how much is owed on this then? If it's a monthly lease and. Okay, well, I'm not responsible for it. Okay, it was in a box and I took it.
It's got some broken parts.
Yeah,
I put a really long.
It's modular,
cable.
so yeah, that's a newer phone.
Yeah, it didn't have a handset. I found a handset that sounds all right, and then the corded modular. I fixed the terminations on the handset cord, but the part of that connects to the side of the phone is a little broken, so it's a little wobbly, and it needed a little care, and that's why the ring was off.
Do we want to speak to Bobson?
Hello,
from Bulgaria.
Bobson, come in.
Good evening, caller time.
How you doing, Bobson?
Good to hear you.
Pardon?
Good to hear you.
We're exchanging pleasantries.
I was gonna tell Alex that I managed to get a bottle of kvass.
But you're not going to do that anymore? You were
very
going to tell him. Why not just tell him?
Yeah, we were talking about it earlier in earlier weeks.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
So did you try it, Bobson? I'm so curious as to your observations.
well, I tried some of it. It's not. To me, it tastes like beer that was unsuccessful or something like that.
It's made you all hyper too. I mean, wow! I could see the difference.
Yeah. Being that it's a fermented beverage, so yeah, I imagine it's like partially fermented because there's no alcohol. Is that correct, Alex or Bobson? I don't know.
There's a very
apparently low levels of alcohol.
Got it.
Yeah.
That are too low to be considered beer. There's something around in Europe that's called small beer, which is beer with low levels of alcohol. That's
Kinder beer.
Yeah, like ciders. Yep. Low alcohol, very, very low alcohol. I think it's getting more popular. People have been, and a lot of the hard seltzers out there, but it's true. I mean, there's so many types of brewed beverages. I'm thinking birch beer and root beer and all of those kinds of low or non-alcoholic, but they seem to be popular. So this is a good test. So Alex, you tried this, right? You had some. That's what
I did. I got it at the Bulgarian grocery store.
Did you
local
enjoy
to me, here in northeastern Pennsylvania in the Poconos?
And you found it palatable?
No, it was pretty terrible. I thought, it just certainly did not agree with my palate. I could not drink more than a tiny bit of it at a time. But apparently in the Soviet Union, this was more popular than water because, where water wasn't readily available or it wasn't clean because this drink was fermented, it killed off a lot of the bacteria in it, and people would just drink this rather than water. I mean, you would have the kvass truck coming around rather than the ice cream truck on a hot day, which just seems so bizarre to me because you've got to have some sort of fortitude to get this stuff down. It doesn't seem like the kind of stuff.
Was there really a kvass truck? Was there really a kvass? That's a thing, or are you making that up?
No, it was a thing. I looked this up. There was a kvass truck that would come around. But what's weird is that it's made from, I believe it's rye bread. And Bobson, I'm curious, did you get that taste, that sort of overpowering, almost moldy bread taste?
Well, to me, as I said, it tasted as a beer that was unsuccessful or something like that. So it's more than that. I cannot say that I managed to get any bread toothpaste or anything like that.
It might go well with some other stuff too. I can imagine y'all testing it in one mode is a lot different than having it alongside some other things to eat or drink and a meal or something like that.
The bottle I got said that it was made in a monastery somewhere where in Soviet times they prevented them, and then in recent years the folks at the monastery found the recipe and started doing it again or something like that.
Of course, sure. What a great story. That's innovation though, like bringing something, and it's almost like a time capsule, that knowledge, and then sharing it in the present day.
So the other question I have for you, Bubson, is where did you find the kvass? Was it in a normal grocery store? Was it in a specialty grocery store? Or did you have to buy this on the
Or
black
is it
market?
already in your refrigerator?
There's this chain of stores that specializes in Russian what's it called? Russian groceries and such, which is a chain that's based in Germany, as far as I know, and for other things that I bought from there, they were made in Germany, some of them, so it's kind of weird. But this was imported from Russia somewhere, so it's basically there's a chain of store called Birch in Russian that is spread around Europe, based in Germany or something like that. So yeah, that's the place I found
So what
it
was
in.
the color? What was the hue of the kvass that you have? Was it like a very dark brown? Was it a light brown?
Alex, I got to ask, why are you so fascinated with this? You've
Well,
been
the
interrogating
one I
him
got was
like some kind of witness at a trial. It's kvass. I mean, the fact that the both of you had it, that's miracle enough for me. But okay, fine. What color? Tell us everything about it, Bobson.
The color of the one I got was dark brown, like a stout type brown, or maybe darker. They had a bottle of something much paler than that, which I decided not to go for.
Yeah, I think that was smart. Yeah, and when you poured it out, did the drink have a head on it? You know, like a foam on the top.
Yeah, it's like
a beer.
Like a stout would, I guess. Some bubbly stuff on it.
Yeah, it's really, I think it's quite interesting. And how much carbonation do you think was in it relative, let's say, to Coke or Pepsi?
Objection. This has been asked and answered.
Much less.
Your Honor.
He's leading the witness.
He is leading the witness. Leading the witness off a cliff.
All right, withdrawn.
Oh.
Yeah.
Damn right,
back down
withdrawn.
like that. I
You
mean,
better withdraw.
Interesting. Then what about the price? Was it something that comes cheaply in Bulgaria, even though it's imported?
Calls for
Or
speculation.
is it more expensive than, let's say, a bottle of Coke?
Compared to Coca-Cola, I think it's cheaper, yes.
Interesting. So do you think
Or
they're trying to
comparable
undercut
to it.
Coca-Cola and Pepsi there and take over the market once again?
Objection. Calls for speculation.
That's a good objection there. That's absolutely right.
I'm not sure what Coca-Cola costs around here because I don't buy this stuff.
good answer.
But
Yeah. Excellent. Is there anything else you'd like to describe about the kvass?
And
to
remember,
us?
you're under oath.
well, I read about what Belgians call small beer, which sounds reasonably close to it, it seems, but which is a beer of low content of alcohol, which is sold around Europe some places, and I haven't tried it yet, so that's my impression of it.
Well, now that we've gone through the kvass item, there are so many other items in the supermarket that I think that we can address on a weekly basis here. Any suggestions for things that I should be on the lookout for that are particularly tasty in my local Bulgarian market?
Well, the thing I want to recommend, I don't know if it travels well or if they brew it over there, but it's very easy to get it wrong somehow. It's millet-based beverage, which is called boza, and it's much thicker than the kvass in many ways, and it used to be the beverage that the Ottoman army used to give a kilogram of it per day to their low-ranking army people and it was enough to feed them and keep them hydrated for a day or so while they were doing their army duties. So it's a very nutritional thing.
And this is what you would describe, this kind of gruel. I mean, this is what you would recommend, rather, this kind of
but as I said,
it's good.
There's many ways to do it wrong, and few people nowadays are doing it right that I know of.
So what should I be asking for again? Remind me of the name.
Boza.
Oh. Boza.
Yes.
Excellent. Does that translate to anything in English?
I don't think it does.
Excellent. I hope this isn't some kind of horrible phrase that I'm going to be asking for.
Just run into your local Bulgarian supermarket and yell boza and see what happens.
All right, so you got your shopping list.
Yeah, I will see. Yeah.
Right.
Well, excellent. I'm going to look for this. It sounds like it might be difficult to find, but I'm going to give it my level best, and I promise to report back fully next week.
Oh, joy. I look forward to this with bated breath. Bobson, have anything else from you before we sign off for tonight?
Yeah, 5G, landlines, whatever you got.
Yeah, anything.
Well, I was not awake during the radio show, so I have to listen up on the archives so I may not be up to speed on all the themes that you've covered. So what can I say about landlines? They're trying to get rid of them around here for whatever reason, but well.
Think about it. You know, when they get for those paranoid people out there who may not be so paranoid, if you're just on wireless, they can just turn those off anytime, and then all of a sudden nobody can communicate anymore. Think about that. There, I just won over all the conspiracy people. Okay, so we'll save landlines for sure now.
Well, I'm using one at present, so I'm not. I have.
That sounds good. Look how good it sounds.
I intend to keep it for as long as I can, but so well.
I just think build networks, everyone. I mean, whatever type you want to settle on, but absolutely realize that it's not just a company, not just for others to be building the networks that you're using. We're all capable of designing and managing our online lives, our communication modes. We already do to an extent, but I think I'm just so hearing in this that people have a hunger for having more control over these things. And like, you're exactly right, Emmanuel. I mean, every mobile phone is attributed to a specific person with all these sensors and ability to attribute your every move, your every utterance to this subscriber account, whereas the older systems you could share a payphone, you could share
this beige telephone on the desk here that used to belong to my grandparents, never ratted them out, never said where they were, what they were doing, what films they liked. anything like that. It just was a phone. This was a phone, and a damn good one too, I might add.
Yeah, and we're being sort of lulled and falling into the sort of romance of all these modern features.
Anyway, Bobson, thanks for calling, and have a good night there in Bulgaria. Merry Christmas if you celebrate it, and Happy New Year, regardless. Well, actually,
well, we do, yes.
Another week before New Year's.
Yes, it's going to be a few more days, yes.
All right. Well, good hearing from you as
Happy
always.
holidays, everybody, and thanks for the show.
Yeah, thanks for staying up, and keep listening. We'll look forward to hearing from you next year.
Yes. Well, next week won't be next year yet.
Well, you can, I guess, call back next week too. But
yeah,
that's
call back
how
next
it
week.
works.
if we don't hear from you, it'll be next year.
That's true.
Oh well.
All right. Good night.
Can't promise anything, but yeah.
Well,
I try and keep in touch.
We'll look forward to it. Okay, great to hear you.
All right, Bobson, take it easy.
Did you see during that call we were getting other calls from the operator?
Yes.
We got a call from zero.
Yeah, zero.
One digit. Probably Rebel. Somebody figured out how to do it. Okay, funny. Very funny. But we're not going to pick that up. We're not picking up any more phone calls. We're done.
Oh, we are?
Yeah, we've been on an hour and 12 minutes
Okay.
on overtime.
I'll just disconnect this.
Disconnect that. And we're going to disconnect everything in just a second. Let's say our final goodnights and invite people to write to us, oth@2600.com, and to enjoy this this time of year, even if you don't have any snow on the ground, which I think we should have.
Call some people. They might be lonely.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's a rough time of year for people, you know? So
Mhm.
it doesn't cost much.
Doesn't cost anything in many instances.
Indeed.
Take care of yourselves.
All right.
Yeah. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas, everybody. Good night.
Happy Kwanzaa.